Craig's back. He's back.
Look at that.
Welcome back, Craig.
Craig is back.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. It's me, Johnny, and with me, I've got Farmer.
Hey.
And DJ D.
Howdy.
And back there in the booth is our boy, Craig. You know, I'm going to go back and I'm going to approve his vacation request. But, you know, retroactively approve it so he keeps his job. Yeah. Appreciate you, Craig. Appreciate you.
It was definitely weird to have his evil twin last week.
Was it his evil twin or was it his cousin? I think
it was
evil
his,
clone.
Like, clone.
Literally,
it was his clone.
Yeah.
Clone.
Even worse.
Wow.
Even worse.
Yeah, even worse. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but Obi-Wan fought in the Clone Wars.
I did hear something about that. What in A New Hope? They
in A New Hope. Yeah.
Did he fight in the Cartoon Network Clone Wars, or did he fight in a Disney Plus Clone Wars?
The Cartoon Network Clone Wars were so good.
They really were. For 5-minute little shorts. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So good. The third episode showing off the ARC Troopers was it's one of my favorites. It's fantastic. How could they take something so good like that and then turn it into like the potato that was the Disney Clone Wars?
Travis is going to be so mad he's not here.
Yeah, imagine taking that would be like taking like I don't even know. There's God.
Did you watch all this?
The Potato Clone Wars? Yeah, I haven't watched it because David said if I watched it, we wouldn't be friends anymore.
I said if you
David
like
and
it,
I have
we won't be friends.
David and I have been friends for a really long time, so like I just don't want to jeopardize our friendship. So I've watched a couple episodes.
You're worried that you might like it. I mean,
I watched a couple episodes. I know that he calls Ahsoka Snips.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
That
for
happened.
Like no reason.
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if the Ahsoka series was just called Snips instead of Ahsoka?
That would be great, actually. I would actually approve of that.
Better yet, it should be more like a comedy. You know, they should just roll out a comedy, and they use all these, funny terminologies.
Yeah. Did everyone here watch the Ahsoka series?
I think so.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
I didn't watch any Rebels, and I've watched like one episode of the Clone Wars, and I enjoyed the Ahsoka series. I felt like I understood it just fine, actually.
I think they did a pretty good job of walking a line between callbacks and not.
It was definitely one of those. Definitely one of those that you could, like you did, Johnny, not have to watch them and go in, but it was also a little bit of a fan service for those who did watch it, enough so where you could like, oh yes, we're getting to see these characters.
All right. The one episode of Clone Wars I watched, I actually have it right here. I watched episode 13 of season 1 called Jedi Crash. It's the episode I watched. Let me pull up.
Oh no.
Let me pull up. What was the plot of this episode? In the 13th episode of season 1, this was the first in a 2-parter. I don't even remember this.
I think that says all that it needs to say.
Let's see here. Anakin and Ahsoka go to assist Ayla Secura. Anakin and Ahsoka get there. They launch 3 gunships. Anakin... Okay, I can't even keep reading this. That's how dull this is. Okay, whatever. I watched it many years ago. I actually tried to watch the Clone Wars at one point when my son was younger, when he was like really young, and I couldn't watch it because it was like not appropriate for him. I was like, oh, this is like a cartoon kid show. I can watch it. And like, I watched like a couple episodes and I was like, my son is freaking out about war. So I'm just going to stop watching this.
It is interesting how certain kids will react, like, I don't know, certain things I think is going to frighten my kids. It doesn't. And then other things I'm like, oh, this is fine. Freaks them out. I don't know where the gauge is sometimes.
So before anyone calls DCFS on my parents, I live in Japan. Y'all can't get me here, or on my parents, on me for being a bad parent. So Johnny couldn't watch the Clone Wars TV show because he was just freaking out. But I played Shadow of Mordor in front of him, and I like very gruesomely executed and decapitated an orc at one point, and like took off his head. And I like look over at my then like 3-year-old son, and he just goes like, he's dead. And I
mean, it's
stopped
Norik.
playing that game in front of him. I stopped. Well, and that's the weird thing. Johnny gets into like in video games, it can be like crazy, weirdly, incredibly violent, and it doesn't bother him. But in a movie, it does bother him.
That's super interesting, huh? Yeah.
Maybe because when you're watching a movie, I think you kind of like engage more, like you're like almost there. I feel like when I'm playing a video game, I know what it is, you know, and I think maybe he sees that too.
Is this an argument against violent video games causing people to do bad things?
Maybe, but when you see a video game, you just know it's a video game. You know it's not real, and
right
in cinema, I think a lot of it has to do with the music too. It's just they score it just so perfectly, and when they bring in like maybe even like jump sequences, it's all that all it is the music for the most part, or like the way that the camera comes in or the effect. Usually, it's not necessarily give or take what is actually shown is not as scary as it would be without all those special effects.
This is true, and yeah, wild. So we were talking before we started this podcast, and we were like, no, we need to wait. Right, we need to wait to get this going. I want to just get the ball rolling. I don't know what Microsoft announced at that thing. Can we start talking about that?
Just for everybody who's here, we have the one and only DJD.
Oh my gosh!
Right here with us today.
A Microsoft missionary, as you would, an MM.
Oh my goodness!
Ooh, I like that. MM.
Please.
M.
Please tell us what Phil Spencer has said.
Essentially, Starfield isn't coming to PlayStation. That was the majority of it. Which was apparently a really, really contested point of contention, where a lot of people thought that it was based on rumors and all that. So there's 4 games going multi-platform. Not Starfield, just those 4. It's not a case-by-case. We're going to look at every game that we make and see whether it fits. It'll be like, certain games after they've been out for a while, they might make sense. Or at least that's my read on it. What they actually said was that it's these 4 games and no further plans. That doesn't mean that plans can't change. Like, I'm not planning on going to McDonald's tomorrow after work, but, I might, I just...
Did they announce the 4 games?
They did not, because apparently those announcements are going to be made by the studios. My guess would be that some of those games will be announced in like the next like State of Play or Nintendo Direct. That's my guess.
There are a couple rumors though of what they could be.
There are rumors, yes.
And
these
there's
rumors seem
4 likely ones, right?
Yeah, these rumors seem pretty like likely. And it makes sense. Where Sea of Thieves and Grounded, what they did say, let's start here. 2 games are smaller and 2 games are like community focused, right? That's all the hints that they gave us. Official.
I hated Grounded. I forget that that's a game that people play.
Hey, we were fine with it until that's like those bugs destroyed us. Okay.
Can I tell the story? Can I tell the story?
Sure. Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, DJD and I were playing Grounded, and we had killed a couple ants. We had built up a little base. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves. And I even was like, we should go try and fight a spider, because I saw a spider, but I didn't engage it. Right. And D was like, I don't think we're ready. And I'm like, I think we are ready. We've got like armor. We've got weapons. And we were out foraging, and we got attacked from behind by like 3. I think they were larvae. I don't know what they were.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm a grown man, and I screamed because all of a sudden I'm just like out there collecting stuff, and all of a sudden I'm like dying, and David's he's like, oh, and I'm like screaming. Right. I have not played that game since. I'm like, listen, I'm just done. I'm done. I'm not about that life.
So you're saying the game was that good? It was that realistic for you?
I screamed in my home, startling my wife and my young child. And I was like, I'm done. I'm never playing this again.
But yes, so the rumors are that Grounded and Sea of Thieves are the community-focused games. Both have been out for a while. Both are kind of like, a little bit further down in terms of popularity. They make sense.
Not fun.
The two smaller
Yep,
games
both not
are
fun.
not there. They both have communities that actively love them, and they both deserve to have a wider audience.
I just want to say really quick before we keep going that the word community is really broad.
That community just might not include you, Johnny.
three people could be a community.
I mean, that is not untrue.
Anyway, I'm just talking about etymology and words right now.
I remember my small community church groups back in the day that were like 4 people. I remember those.
Okay, so.
But yeah, or Nav when it was 3 people and it was a community, good times.
Yeah, I mean, we still had good times.
Yeah, but and then the other 2 rumored games are Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment, which are both fantastic games that also deserve a wider.
What
reach.
is Pentiment? I don't even know what this is. Pentiment.
Did you not play it? Maybe you didn't.
Is this on Xbox?
Did. Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
What is this? Let me look at this.
I looked at it earlier and I'm like, I have no idea what this game is. I've never played it.
I like the art style. Are they burning books? I'm looking at this. Oh no, it's not a book burning. It looks like it's a people burning.
Just a little different there.
Yeah, just a little different. I was like, oh look, there's a bunch of people standing around a fire burning stuff. Wait,
this is like
that, what is this?
This is early what I don't know. Early century, right? Early like couple first centuries.
Well, the game came out a couple years ago. But...
No. Duh. Okay. Obviously, they weren't playing video games in the first century.
It came out a few centuries ago. We've just been waiting. We've just been waiting for it. Hold on. I don't see it on Game Pass.
It's definitely on Game Pass.
Hold on, let me search.
All right. This game is actually in 1518 in Bavaria.
In Bavaria, like Bavarian cream donuts.
Exactly like that, actually.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Southern Step into a living illustrated world inspired by Illuminate. This sounds like it's totally my jam. You know what else this sounds like? This also sounds like something I would love to play on a Switch.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything I love, for the people listening, if there's anything I love playing games that run like trash on the Switch. I really do. I really love it. I love playing a game and being like, my PS1 ran better than this. And here we are. It's wonderful. How can Minecraft run badly on a Switch? How?
That's a great question.
This is wild.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is listening, what are your thoughts of the games that are coming out? What are
these are the rumored games. They're not officially announced yet. Yeah.
What do you hope comes out, and what do you think will come out? And what do you think? Have you guys played these games? Have you played Pentiment? I'm curious about feedback on that, honestly.
Hi-Fi Rush is fantastic. I can personally vouch for that. That's a wonder. That's like the best rhythm game I think I've ever played.
What is that game that came out that was super colorful, and you were always grinding on rails? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Sunset Overdrive.
It would be funny if it was Sunset Overdrive. They're like, guess what, guys? Sunset Overdrive coming to the Switch.
Oh, that would be hilarious, actually, because they'd be like, hey, you guys have Insomniac. We'll just let you guys enjoy another game.
From Insomniac.
Insomniac.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
Man.
Highly underrated game there, too, when it comes down to it. But I like but
actually it kind of feels you can kind of get that feel a little bit in Suicide Squad. I don't know if you've gotten that feel playing it, David.
A little bit. Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just so much more colorful than the Arkham games for sure.
Yeah.
Did anyone
and the traversal is a blast.
Did they announce the Microsoft Series M by any chance?
They have not yet. What they did announce though was that there will be a hardware announcement this holiday.
Ooh.
And it will not be the next Xbox. Like they're still working on that, and then they do have plans for that, and that will be what they always say, the largest leap in a generation,
I love announcements for announcements.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
But they did announce that they will have a hardware announcement this holiday. I think they even went as far as to say it will be a unique or different hardware announcement or something like that.
Xbox coming to Apple Vision Pro. HoloLens is back. They just like dust it off.
You know what's funny, Johnny? So last week we were kind of talking about, the potential Xbox M, right? And everything. I don't know what happened. I know my phone can't hear you guys, but today I'm scrolling through and all of a sudden there's just all these rumors about Xbox Mobile. And I know they didn't hear you. There's no way they could have heard you, but my phone heard you.
I mean,
but it does hear. It does hear you.
Mm-mm.
Your phone hears me right now. What's up, Armor's phone?
No, it doesn't hear you. It can't hear you at all. I've got earbuds on. It's just funny how technology works,
It is really interesting.
Do they still make Steam Decks?
Yes.
Or is that like discontinued?
No, that's still a thing.
I'm looking them up. They seem expensive.
They are kind of pricey, but they're the best handheld device right now when it comes down to it. Partially because of all the stuff you can do with it. Like it has its base Steam OS, but then you can also jury rig it to do a bunch of other stuff too.
I mean, that's what I love to hear about a really expensive piece of gear. Is that you know what? This super expensive piece of gear, would you like to jerry rig it? Yes, I would. Yes,
all
I
the
would.
good stuff, man. You got to put those mods on it, man.
we brushed over it really quickly, but for those who don't know, I make music. I make chill electronic music. You can listen to it on Spotify. This is the one time I'm going to say you can look up my name, Johnny Bailey, JohnnieBailey, wherever it is you listen to music, and you'll find my music there, and you can listen to it. But can we again touch on Microsoft's HoloLens was basically the Apple Vision Pro, and the deep cut that Microsoft was doing streaming before Spotify or anyone else was. Isn't that wild?
Or even their console always online and Family Pass and everything, and now that's a huge thing on Switch is the Family Plan.
I use it. Yeah. It's just crazy. Wouldn't it be funny if it was just HoloLens that they just are oh hey, yeah, we still have this. We still got this chilling in the back.
So not to get too into rumors or whatever, I'm really curious what this announcement at the end of the year is. I don't have the faintest clue. I haven't seen any solid rumors on it. It would be interesting if it was a Series M. It would also be interesting if it was something to do with VR or something. Because remember back when PlayStation VR came out, their whole thing was we would do this, but it's not cost effective for us. We can't find a price point for it to make it wireless. And that was their big hold up, right? Was
right.
We need it to be wireless.
Being an Apple fanboy, I don't know everything for Microsoft, but if it was Apple, it would be a Microsoft Xbox Series X Pro Max would be the release.
Wouldn't that be interesting if they bridged the gap from Microsoft and Mac and kind of made something that works on both?
That would be wonderful. I would like that. Yeah.
Be like a mobile device but the problem is still, I guess, would be the whole App Store. Microsoft, still has
especially with Apple and the way that it deals with app stores.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I was just reading something about that today. They're still having troubles with Apple. Still to this day.
Yeah. Well, Apple makes way too much money.
Really smart company that figures out. I haven't looked into the details of it yet, but apparently, there was an EU ruling that basically allowed for external purchasing, and they found a way to kind of get around it or make it
well, they accepted it, but then they were breaking it. They're breaking on their phones. Yeah. So it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you think that, it's hard because they can't be that reactive, right? Whatever this is has been in the tank for a little while.
Right.
What do you think it would be more toward, a handheld or a VR type experience?
Handheld, almost certainly. I could maybe even see it being that cloud-based thing, but I mean, I don't know that with the I don't think the investment in cloud recently has been enough to justify that. So I don't know. But I could see a handheld thing for sure.
It'd be so.
It's interesting because Microsoft's had their hands in a little bit of everything in the past 10 years, a little bit with Surfaces, even dating back further for those, but also like the Windows Phone. Are they going to tap into any of that technology, like that they
Right.
have used over the past 10, 15 years and kind of like pull it all together, or is this something brand new?
Maybe
Right.
it's Mixer coming back.
Well, that's my thing with. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but what year was HoloLens? Because that was forever ago.
Man, I'm thinking like this 2015 or something like that.
I know they
right?
announced it like almost a full half decade before it came out or
2016.
whatever.
Man,
It was announced in 2016, but like they already got all of that. Like they could just update it and.
Well, and technically
it,
it does exist. It is in use. It's just not popular. It's
are they
very niche.
Are they yet again going to do the whole follow up after? Well, I mean, I guess they don't always follow up after. But Zune was technically after in iPod, right?
I believe so. Yes, I remember David.
Yeah, it was.
I had two friends who had Zunes. They both loved them so much. It's so weird.
The Zune was great. The hardware was nothing like super special, but the Zune was great. And even the software wasn't that special. It was really just like the plan, the subscription thing, and all
the
that.
plan, but also the storage, in comparison to the iPod.
And the device was comparable. It just wasn't like unique, right?
That was the funniest part to me of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, for sure.
When he gets the Zune at the end, I was like, David's gonna love this.
I love that callback.
I loved that.
It was so good.
It was
I
so
loved
good.
it. Thank you, Guardians.
Yeah, thanks, James Gunn.
But they also have done a great job with the Surface, by and large. Like it could be doing better.
The Surface,
it's still
the Surface is great.
Pretty popular.
Yeah. I still have my Generation 3, which is really old, by the way. But I'm pretty happy with it still.
Would you like to talk about Madam Web?
No spoilers, please. But you said it was great, because I heard a lot of people said it was
it's
pretty bad.
What I said on Threads, great platform, love it. I hate that I love it because it's meta, but sometimes big companies do attractive things. What I really like about what I said on Threads was Madam Web is the worst movie that I've ever seen that I enjoyed.
Wow.
It gets pretty wild and crazy. There's a lot of weird stuff in there that just has no explanation whatsoever. It's great. Let's just play a game here, okay? If you could make a Madam Web movie, right?
Wait. Are we talking about game or movie?
A Madam Web movie, okay?
Okay.
What would be the pitch of your movie? Like, what would it be like?
My pitch for that would definitely be tying in something to, Spider-Man, obviously, because the 90s cartoon, and when Madam Web's introduced in that, my pitch would be something in that vein.
But what would she already be at the fullness of her power or whatever? Would there be flashbacks? Give me a little bit more.
I think okay, all right.
Give me a plot.
I think I would. I think my plot would be you'd see it in the middle, but you'd have all of a sudden this flashback, But she's already maybe already up to her full potential.
Are we talking Slumdog Millionaire flashbacks? Or
wow, deep cut Slumdog Millionaire. I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Well, I think you'd have this intro sequence where she's facing the whole thing. Yeah, maybe the whole thing, But have 10 minutes where you don't know what in the world's going on, and then all of a sudden it reels it back, and then we're learning about it. But it's got to tie into all these other characters that are going to be in the movie, and I don't know. At least that's my pitch.
Okay, sure. That's interesting. That would be a better movie than I saw.
Wow.
Do you have any pitch for me, Johnny?
I don't know who Madam Web is. I want to start off with that. I don't know. I asked
really
Travis and David about I don't even know who Madam Web is. I'm like, is she like the Speed Force? And Travis was like, yeah, she's like the Speed Force for spider people. So that being said, so I'm gonna go ahead and say the movie starts off with her, everything's fine, and then and there's this boy she really likes, right? And they go on a field trip, right? And then the boy is like, hey, take my picture. And she's like, it's for the school paper. And when she takes the picture, she gets bit by a radioactive spider. Right. And then feels really sick, goes home, collapses on her bed.
Original idea. I like it.
And then she lifts up her glasses and looks through them and it's blurry. And then she puts them down and it's not blurry anymore. Okay. And then we're just going to do Cliff Notes now. At one point, the boy she likes is walking through the cafeteria and he slips and falls and she jumps up and grabs him and uses his tray to catch everything that falls in a single shot. It's actually very impressive.
I like that this is the Cliff Notes version.
The boy is like, wow, great reflexes, right? And then her aunt, because she's been living with her uncle and aunt, because they've been, her parents died. We don't care. And the aunt, for some reason,
is it really her uncle or is it her dad?
The reason, maybe it's both. Maybe this takes place somewhere in the South.
Both, yeah.
I don't know. Takes place in Birmingham. So the uncle, the aunt is like, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, whatever. And she goes and fights someone in a literal cage match. And wins. And then the person robbing the place of the money, who also there's another person, but that we're not going to find out about that until the third movie, that there was another person, right? It's just this one person. Kills the aunt who's waiting at the library, right? crazy. To steal the aunt's car. For some reason, there's the best friend's dad is bad. Or I guess mom. We're going to make it all women, right? Best friend's mom is bad. And a bunch of stuff happens. Ends in a graveyard, right? With her being like, I am Madam Web. That's my idea. What do you think? I think that sounds like a hit.
She just says it, and she says it loud enough that everyone else hears her and stares at her.
Yeah, but instead, no. Put a little Batman in there. She's like, I am Madam Web.
No, it ends with her walking, and we're just hearing the thoughts, right? Of oh yeah. I'm thinking the next movie, she's gonna be losing her powers and be delivering pizza for some reason, right? And all of that kind of stuff.
That's such a weird thing. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I think there should be an upside down kiss in the rain.
Why was he losing his? Okay, all right.
Yeah. There should be an upside down kiss in the rain at some point in the movie.
Obviously, that
too would be a much better movie than I saw.
I mean, honestly, if you did exactly what Johnny said, it would be perfect, kind of spoof kind of movie, just hilarious.
Yeah. And did you guys see Loki season 2?
I didn't finish it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it all either. Something came
guys,
up and I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say?
Yeah.
I want to watch it. I may watch it. I've been watching it with Bethany and Chiho, and I may watch it by myself.
Okay. So you guys have seen oh gosh, what's the actual name of it?
I want to say yes.
The movie where Tom Cruise repeats the same events or whatever.
Oh, Live, Die, Repeat. Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Or it originally was called Edge of Tomorrow, and they changed
there
the
we
name.
Go. That's what I was. Yeah.
It is
they
Edge of
changed
Tomorrow.
the name to Live, Die, Repeat. because they felt that edge of.
They officially changed the name to Live, Die, Repeat. They did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because everybody
Yeah,
just
because
confused it so much. That's
People
what everybody
couldn't
else
figure
called
it out.
it.
Because
like
people
nobody
couldn't figure it
could.
out. Well, Live, Die, Repeat was on all of the posters.
Well,
and it was in bigger
it
letters
was a good
too.
slogan, but it was like so. It was actually, yeah, it was in bigger letters. I mean, everybody I talked to called it "Live, Die, Repeat." Everybody. So,
well, that's what it's called.
Yeah. So my Madam Web movie,
movie
would be essentially Live, Die, Repeat, kind of, where she like keeps on like seeing these things, or kind of like a mix of that and Sherlock Holmes.
I don't understand what any of this has to do with a radioactive spider, but continue.
Well, because like, okay, so
is Madam Web the spider?
Let me say this. In the comics, she's a mutant with precog abilities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I was making a movie about Madam Web, like she would have the ability to like see the future a little bit or whatever. And it would be kind of like a Sherlock Holmes or like Live, Die, Repeat, where like she sees like all the possibilities, right? And that would basically be the movie. And that's just like
I would love to actually see like a detective movie.
That also would be a better movie than I saw.
But that's actually really good, David. I really like that idea you've got, because the fact that she has premonitions and being able to use that as more like a sleuthing ability, like detective and show. I mean, that would be a good TV series, honestly.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single like Sony spider movie. I haven't seen Venom. I haven't seen Morbius. I haven't seen Venom 2. I haven't seen Madam Web, and I'm not going to see any of the other ones because who cares, right? Like,
I saw the first Venom. I have not seen any of the others.
Are they making a Carnage movie?
Apparently,
I mean, that might. Who knows?
It kind of.
I know they're making a Kraven the Hunter movie, which comes out this August.
My God, why are they making movies about?
I don't know.
Interesting people.
So the thing is, they want to be successful with the whole. They know that they could be successful because of what MCU has done, and these franchises are beloved. But the thing is, the way that they're doing them is not interesting.
To defend Sony a little bit here, the more they make, the more possible it becomes, though. Right? That one of them's going to be a hit. If you would have told me one of my favorite musicals would be about the first secretary or treasury secretary of the United States, and that I'd be really into it, I wouldn't believe you. Right? Yeah. Maybe Kraven the Hunter is the movie that's going to kick it off. Maybe.
But here's the problem, too, is that, like, all these movies are making money as bad as they are. So, I mean, like, and I'm not saying, like, as bad, like, I didn't like them. I mean, as bad objectively based on reviews and stuff, you know? Like, these movies just aren't good movies. Like, I mean, you could personally find enjoyment in them. Like, I enjoyed Madam Web, as absurd as it was. I don't think Travis did. But...
Well, I think the thing is, too, you know, going back to, it's more about the business side of things to them. And back in the day, it didn't have to be a blockbuster film, you know, sellout kind of movie. It just had to be, you know, enough to make profit. And I guess if they're making profit and turning a profit, they're probably not going to stop, which is kind of as a fan, not necessarily that great if you don't enjoy it, because they're just kind of like muddling the waters a little bit, you know?
Well, and that's my concern, is that like they'll continue making money and they'll continue thinking that that's an endorsement and an enjoyment of what they're doing. And so they'll continue utilizing that same strategy because it makes money, right? And that's problematic because these are not good movies. And they actually kind of like muddy the well a little bit of what's like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though these aren't directly connected. You know, like
but they're like, connected enough to like be like,
right,
this is confusing. Why is this happening? It makes no sense. They should be a little bit more tied in, you know, but they're not. But I wish they were.
Well, trying to explain to someone who has no idea the difference between DC and Marvel, right? That like those are two different things, and Wonder Woman isn't gonna suddenly like save Captain America over there. You know, like I mean, like that is an entire endeavor in and of itself, right? It gets even more complicated when you go like...
Hold on. Can we talk about, though, that it is really weird that Captain America, the first Avenger, happens like set in the past, right? Wonder Woman, also set in the past. Both movies
True.
culminate in a guy named Steve dying on a plane or like crashing a plane. Really weird. Weird coincidence.
This is true. This is
Weird
true.
coincidence. So Wonder Woman showing up in Captain America, it really feels right. You know what I mean? It does really feel right when you think about those connections. Also, it ends with them like on the plane and they're like talking on the phone or on the or whatever, and they're like, "I'm gonna miss you so much," and he's like, "I've got to do this, baby." You know what I mean? Wild.
And then they get ported back to their dimensions, but it'd be a cool crossover. Yeah. I don't deny.
But then in '84 they bring him back and he just doesn't remember anything because like his memory. God, what? Like what? Oh my gosh, I can't with some of the decisions that certain people make, but it's fine. But trying to explain the difference between Marvel and DC is one thing. Trying to explain the difference between Marvel and Marvel, when like we're talking about some of the same characters actually exist in both universes, like Vulture, like Spider-Man himself, you know? Like, I mean, like, that gets messy real quick. And so, like, I mean, like, yeah.
Well, and you have those people. I've actually had people literally tell me, I'm not going to watch any Marvel movies because there's too much to catch up on, and I just don't want to put the effort in.
Well, and it's the Windows Phone problem, right? Where like the bad movies do give the good movies like a bad reputation too. So like I could see someone being a layman and like seeing like all the Marvel movies and really enjoying the MCU. I don't know anyone necessarily who's done this, but I could see this being a possibility of someone who's like gotten into the MCU because it became mainstream, sees all the Marvel movies, goes, wow, this is actually really good storytelling. This is actually not just like standard like superhero movies like I knew them growing up. Like, you know, watches them and then starts watching the Spider-Man movies, like all the Spider-Verse movies or what, not the actual Spider-Verse, the like, you know, oh my gosh, things get so confusing so quickly. But the Spider-Man cinematic Spider-Man universe or whatever that Sony does. The Sonyverse. Which is called the Sonyverse. The Sonyverse movies. And like going, wow, Marvel movies really have gone downhill lately, you know? I mean, like, exactly. Like I could
like, whoa, don't put us in there.
Right. And like just kind of being like, okay, well, I'm tired of superhero movies now. Just overall. I could see that happening, you know, and that would be unfortunate. Yeah.
It could easily happen. Though, I mean, I found some enjoyment in some of those movies. They're just not at the same caliber for sure as like MCU. And I can see the distinction, but again, like you said, there's so many people that would be like, I don't get it. What's going on? What happened? What happened to Spider-Man? Where is he?
Well, and it creates this narrative of like, oh, all the Marvel movies all suck now. And it's like, well, not necessarily. Like, I mean, like when it comes down to it, like some of the newer ones are definitely set up movies or whatever. Oh, you mean the Spider-Man movies too? Oh, okay. All right. I see where you're coming from. No, that's an entirely different. That gets so complicated. That's like when I was, you know, using a Windows phone and going, no, Windows phones are actually good if you get like the right model. Like, I mean, like that's just such a hard sell.
It is. Yeah. Well, and you saw that cameo about like a Venom, like it actually tied in a little bit to the MCU. So that makes it even that much more like confusing.
But here's the thing. So I recently watched the MCU with Chiho, like in the last couple of years, and doing that with a friend who hasn't seen it. And really approaching it, we watched it in chronological order, not release order. It was actually really nice and really cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of the new stuff, it's been harder to get into. I think there is like that fatigue where people feel like, but here's the other thing. So the Deadpool 3 trailer came out, right? Because of the Super Bowl. And Iho hasn't seen any of the Deadpool movies or any of the Fox X-Men movies. And like Pyro was in the trailer. Right? Like Pyro was there and it's like the Fox Wolverine and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. On one hand, as a fan who has seen all of those things, I am appreciative of all of that. But being considerate of people who haven't seen all of those things, it really makes me wonder, how are they going to pull it off for those people who haven't seen it, right? And like
Right.
the idea of like, you know, you shouldn't have to do homework to watch a movie.
I
But
agree
that being
with
said,
that.
if it was just a trilogy, you would say that, right? You'd be like, no, you should definitely watch the first two movies before you watch the third movie. But we're like 40 movies in now. You know, like it's a lot.
But also, like, I mean, like, two things. So first of all, like, I totally get like Marvel fatigue and everything. I think a big part of that though too is like starting back at like a phase one, right, and building up. You know, essentially like with all these like solo or team up movies that are like pretty like low stake in comparison with what they're going to be building towards. A lot of setup, all that jazz. But then also, when it comes down to it, I think that's also part of the reason why they went back to like kind of a phase one. Is first of all, they had to. How do you go up from in Endgame, right? But then also,
Right.
it gives people a good entry point, right? It's kind of like whenever universes get rebooted in the comics, where it's like, okay, well, this is a decent place to like enter in where you don't necessarily need to know the years of history, right?
Yeah, but I would say I still don't think it's really reboot. It's really there because like you still, even in
Sure.
phase 4, really need to know, like it's all post Endgame recovery,
Yeah.
which, you know, maybe in phase 5 it'll be different, right? And phase 5 is really going to be a little that way, but it's just a lot. And
Yeah,
It is a lot for sure. Yeah.
what they need to do is they need to do the TV show thing. Before they start every Marvel movie, they need to do like a previously on Marvel and like just show you everything you need to know before that movie.
But then it's like the whole thing on gaming where you play the game, like say 5 titles down, and then you're doing another tutorial. Who wants to do another tutorial? Nobody wants
So
another tutorial.
what they tried to do on Disney Plus was before each new like property released or whatever, they had like the Marvel Cinematic Universe Legends series where it would be that. Like right before the Black Widow movie, there was an episode about Black Widow that explained her whole history and everything. And like, but the problem is that being like not like directly attached and you having to seek it out kind of makes it a little bit less accessible.
Well, that's why they just need to, instead of playing the Marvel logo with every hero, you know, with all the heroes in it, they can just do a quick 30-second like, hey guys, these people are in this movie. These are the key parts you should remember about them. All right, let's get going. You know, I don't feel bad about that when it's on a TV show. I actually love it.
Sure.
Yeah, if it's a TV show, I could see maybe they have this prompt, like say, have you watched any of these shows? And then you could click the link and they update you and then back to the movie. Okay, now we're back. You know,
This is when theaters just become dark rooms where everyone puts on like a headset and is watching the movie themselves, and you can key in or out of. Yeah, do you want to skip this tutorial? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna skip it.
You could also have a group voice channel if you wanted like that cinematic like shared experience, you know.
Oh wait, I'm 20 seconds behind. Let me catch up.
Marquez Brownlee I didn't finish the video, but he talked about that's what Apple Vision Pro is missing. That Meta Quest has a lot of social things, and while it doesn't look as good, you can have a shared experience with people. And they have like gaming, but not just gaming. They have things that's a shared experience, but that currently the Vision Pro does not have that. Like whatever you experience, it's really cool and all of that, but it's very much for you. And I wonder if that is just a lack of apps or if that's like a design strategy, you know?
I kind of think it's maybe both. I don't know. Like all the marketing seems like very work focused, you know, and all that.
Well, work focused, but I mean, even something as simple as you can't watch a shared movie between 2 Vision Pros, or like you can't like, you know, interact with something that someone else is interacting with. So even like a work meeting, if there was something like that. But also, I mean, cell phones are a very individual experience as well, right? Which is Apple's big moneymaker. Like, it's weird to think that David and I have the same phone basically, but if I was to pick up his phone, it would be totally different, and that's wild.
That makes me think of Starfield. Doesn't that make you think of Starfield, David, about different experiences?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, we're out of time, guys. It's it turns out that, you know, we went a little long last week, so Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to give us a rating. Make sure to go ahead.
Diablo 4 is coming Game Pass on March 28th.
All right, yeah, we are a lot of time. Yeah. Go ahead and give us a rating wherever it is you're listening. Make sure to follow us on socials. It should be pretty easy to find. Does anyone have any closing comments before we get out of here?
Craig, thank you for being
back, Craig.
Yeah.
The return of Craig. I love it.
Yeah, Craig.
He had a family emergency.
He had a family emergency. We appreciate you, Craig. We are gonna approve your vacation time retroactively. But I think that's it. Bye.